So this is a slightly, I suppose you would call it spontaneous. This is some spontaneous video. It's just, uh, oh, sorry, this has not been a good start. This is a pretty spontaneous video. Um, I figured, I'll just yap about it and discuss it because I suppose it's something that's been on my mind would be probably what I'll call it, but the pursuit of perfection. Um, I suppose, yeah. I don't really know where to go off there. I haven't got any script or anything. There's no kind of plan or sorry, hang on. The thing I'm trying to download isn't downloading. There's no sort of plan or thought being put into this really, as you can tell by the kind of extremely shaky start. That does get down to the brass tacks of it. Um, I suppose for me, I don't tend to be satisfied unless things turn out the way I want them to go, like exactly. When it comes to drawing or doing a test for school or finding a job, I think I struggle to kind of be like, it's not ideal, but it's still pretty good. I tend to have a very all or nothing outlook on things. Um, and I think that's definitely to my detriment. Um, so sometimes, I suppose here, when it comes to art, if it doesn't look exactly how I want it to, then I won't be satisfied with what I've done. Even if what I've done is an improvement for upon what I've done before. If it's not, the really high standards that I have, are probably unattainable standards, especially for someone at my sort of level. Um, I find it I find it painful sometimes. Um, I suppose I look at myself and I'm like, why can't I do this? Why can't I get it right? Um, and I tend to put myself down. I would say probably a lot, more than I need to, because I don't want to accept um, this is what it is. This is how it's gonna be. Obviously, with art, you can grow and you can improve, and I think I have seen improvement. Um, Much I don't probably want to admit it to myself. I still feel like I'm the same I was a year ago. But that's not really true. But even when it comes to other things, I suppose in life, like if you do a test and you don't really get the score you wanted to, even if the score is like 100% or something like that, you don't get it. You kind of beat yourself up, even if you end up getting 95 or 96%, and you do, for all intents and purposes, you did pretty good. So it's just something for me. I think it would be. Oh, I want to try and talk through it out loud because on a, I don't know. I suppose a more real situation is in life. For me, it's got to be all or nothing. It's got to be everything I want and everything I've dreamed about. And if I don't get that, I won't be happy. And I won't accept anything less, even though probably by doing so, I am mainly I'm holding myself back from probably better um better opportunities, or something that, you know, although it won't fit my probably unrealistic expectation of what I want, it's the closest thing I can get, and actually I just end up pretty satisfied with what the reality is. Um, I suppose because I've done that. Sometimes I'm like, you know, if new people I meet don't kind of meet my idea of, absolute perfect friend who's gonna be with me to the end, BFFs as they say, um, then I kind of think I could do better. Which, now that I say that out loud, it's such an awful um, outlook on life, I suppose. But for me, it was true, and for me, that was my, I suppose, reality for a long while. I can't draw this circle. I should listen to my own lesson and accept what's not good. But anyway, I mean that throwaway comment about the use of the stick was not that good. I think it's something that I think probably most people could relate to, where you kind of want all or nothing, and I think at least for me, you don't stop to smell the roses, because there's a lot of good stuff that that is out there and could happen, and oftentimes I don't really see that because I'm so focused on, you know, well, how can I make, my dreams come true? How can I have the perfect life, even though the perfect life is it's unattainable. Um, there's no you can get close to it, I suppose, but there's always going to be problems, whether they be external or internal. There's always going to be some sort of conflict, and sometimes that's a good thing. Not obviously not if you're going out and deliberately starting conflicts to, you know, satiate that thirst. But I think it's important to be challenged in life, um, and I think that's something that I don't. I don't necessarily not want to be challenged. Like, I want to be challenged, but I think it has to be a challenge I know I can handle. Um, because a lot of the times, like, I suppose I jump into things, um, and I think probably for a lot of my life it's been a challenge. It's been an upward kind of push. So in my head, I'm like, oh, you know, challenges are bad. You should avoid them. Um, that's not really. I'm kind of going off on a bit of a tangent. What I'm saying is that for me, there's like a specific route that in my head, if I do it, then everything will be good and fine and dandy, and at the end of the day, everything will turn out. It will turn out the way I wanted it to. And for me, I've no trouble being like, if that route contains, waking up at 3 a.m. every day, you're not going to bed until like 10, 11 at night, working really hard and stuff. If that gets me to where I want to be, I've no issue doing that. But it's about having that guarantee, and that I suppose is kind of to my to my detriment. I'm not really. This was called. I'll probably call it the pursuit of perfection. I think it has a nice ring to it. I'm sure lots of people have done it before, but Um, I should go back to the original topic. I kind of lost my train of thought. I'm doing this while drawing. This is all live. This is me talking and attempting to draw. Um, I was doing ribbons today because I want to try to draw hair better. So yeah, today today is hair day. Um, so I need to pick out specific strands and try and. But the pursuit of perfection. Um, yeah, I mean, as much as it is, I'm not trying to. I don't think I've got some profound take. I haven't probably experienced life to the fullest, or of the really to the fullest. I think I can. So I'm not some guru. You shouldn't take my words as facts, or I'm just kind of venting and rambling because I think it will help me uh, to process certain things. But yeah, the pursuit of perfection, I think, is probably what's in all fairness been arguably plaguing me. I suppose these past couple of years. I think I get very caught up in trying to do things a certain way, or trying to meet people who I think will kind of match my perfect image of a friend or a girlfriend or whatever, um, or some sort of mentor figure for me. Because I don't know. I suppose that was the dream for me, and I think now I've kind of realised that's been more of a detriment to myself rather than helping me to you know grow as a person, or letting me live life properly. I don't know how I'm gonna overcome it. um, Sorry for that moment of silence. I hope you didn't get bored. But yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna. I think an acknowledgement is a start. Not even like I think mine's kind of deeper than it should be. But even if it's just in general, like with doing art, it's important to, at least for me, to just get stuff out there. Oh man, this is really incoherent. Um, but that's the point. See, I'm even now I'm still grappling like this isn't as good as it could be. Um, Maybe I should restart and do it again. But that kind of defeats the purpose of trying to be less perfect. That you have to take the bad for the good. Um, so I suppose I'm just forcing myself to put out this, which I doubt anyone will watch. Maybe that's a good thing. All these thoughts will die with me. Um, but like on a less, um, I don't know, like even when I'm drawing something, I'm not very good. I'm not very good at drawing, and I'm not trying to be like a pick me or anything. But I've only really picked it up. I've been doing it for about 2 years or so. Um, I haven't drawn anything up until that point. I didn't do it because every time I did, I get laughed at when I was in school. Maybe not laughed at. I was quite sensitive back then. Um, but a lot of my friends were good at drawing, and compared to them, I wasn't. I wasn't great, so I kind of gave it up. But I figured, I'll give it a go again. And yeah, I oftentimes practice instead of making things, because I'm like, oh, I'll make things when I'm good enough, or I'll make things when I think I've reached a level where I'll be satisfied, which will probably never come. Um, I will never achieve a state where I think I'll be totally satisfied with my artistic skills. I think there'll be a point where I look at it and I'm like, you know, I can draw a figure accurately. I can draw a head accurately. I can copy a reference of a figure and not be, have it look like a person and look like the reference. Even on Pinterest, I've still got this board and it's stuff I want to draw, and it's pretty self-explanatory. It's stuff I want to draw, and some days I look at it and I'm like, why don't I just start drawing the stuff there now? Like, what's stopping me? And then you go to the other side and you're like, no, you're not good right now. If you do it now, it'll just turn out really, really shit. Which, is probably true. Well, that's not the point. The point is that I need to give it a go, because otherwise I won't ever. I won't see what I can do or what I'm capable of if I always try and play it safe. Um, and maybe I disguise not wanting to fail as me being like, oh, I'm just perfectionist. That's why I don't do things. It's because it won't turn out how I want them. I mean, that's kind of the same thing, I suppose. But so I got really focused on drawing her hair. What was I saying? Yeah, just put stuff out there is the main thing. If you're like me and you're hyper super perfectionist, um, honestly, just try it. I mean, that's what I've been doing, kind of more so lately. It's just making stuff, even if it's bad, because you'll never improve if you keep. Um, so I had to make sure I was recording because I worried, massive panic that I wasn't. Um, but yeah, you have to put stuff out there because you'll never get anywhere. If you're so focused in life of being perfect, you'll never start anything, or hell, you probably won't even finish anything, because it's like, if it's not the way I exactly envisioned it, there's no point me doing it, or there's no, you'd be dissatisfied. Oh, I smashed my desk. And that's probably the worst thing, at least for me. The worst way to end one's life is to end it dissatisfied, because I suppose I'd rather. As I suppose the correct thing would be, is better to have lived the. Okay, my outlook is that I tend to only really want my life to go a certain way, and if it's not that, it's not worth living, which is a terrible, really bad outlook to have. Um, but for me, it's I want it to be perfect. I only have one real shot at this, so why wouldn't I want it to be as good as it could be? And if it's not that, then I've failed. Um, which is wrong. Don't don't listen to that. It's in it's important to fail. It's important to be disappointed in yourself sometimes, not all the times, but you need to be able to accept that things won't always turn out the way you want them to be. I feel like now that I'm talking about this out loud, a lot of me thinking I'm a perfectionist is probably a fear of failure, quite badly disguised. So maybe this will turn into. I'll change the title to a fear of failure. Um, but I'm getting distracted. What was I saying? Um, yeah, I'm sorry if you came in here thinking I'll give you some profound answer. This is more so just to get my thoughts out here. Um, I'm really bad at vocalizing my thoughts or to think through them and to get into the nitty gritty of my psychology. But this is it feels nice. I think yeah, I can probably say now that with some level of confidence that I'm probably more pretty scared of failing. Um, I've done so a lot, which you would have thought it could be slightly thicker skin, but I think it's probably just maybe expect it. So kind of be like, there's no point me trying because yeah, that's tends to be the outcome. Um, but you know, I'm trying to do better, I suppose. Um, it's an enemy talk, so to keep you keep you engaged, I guess. I suppose if you clicked on it, you probably want some answers, and I don't have any for you. I can only be, I suppose, relatable to a certain degree. Sorry, I've been burping. But if you're sometimes if you're a perfectionist, it's difficult to start things. Um, Not really. I think it's more. No, I take that back. It's more so difficult to finish things. I think probably as you we'll say with art, if you're doing a drawing and it's kind of progressively getting not what you want it to be, it's pretty easy to want to throw in the towel, I guess, and be like, it's not what I wanted it to be. So there's no point. Fuck it. Is is crap. Is done. No, that's not good. That's very sharp. So for me, I don't tend to finish things or even do complete drawings. I can't really remember when I've done a complete drawing from like completely from scratch. Like I've had something in my mind and I've been like, oh man, I really wanna draw that, and then I've done it and then looked at it. I've done it a couple of times, but then it just made me realize, no, I'm really bad at this. So I should just give up because there's not much point carry on if I'm just gonna disappoint myself doing it. I can't quite get this hair right. This is a bit of a change of pace for me because normally I would do like gaming or stuff because that's I suppose what's popular. which I enjoy. But this is nice for me. I mean, not a lot of people watch my channel anyway, so it's not really a big deal me putting this out there. But I don't want it to be just me constantly whining and complaining about stuff. I want things to be better. I don't want to be so negative all the time. But I think I've got to confront the more negative aspects of life and myself and kind of see, it's not perfect, and I'm not perfect, but it doesn't mean things can't be good. I think that needs to be the key takeaway, especially for myself, is that things aren't perfect. They'll never be perfect. You'll end up disappointing yourself more if you are really fixated on things being perfect, because it's just well, it's unattainable. I think probably nowadays it's slightly more prevalent, you could say, with social media. I know probably people always say that, where you get to see, the most successful people on earth, and it's like, man, I could do that, and I could be that. And obviously, when you fall short, you fail, because it's never that easy. Um, it's pretty crushing. Um, I don't know what I'm doing. Do you know what? Maybe in celebration of this, I'll try draw her. Just like, I shouldn't draw every strand. That's incorrect. All right, let me try to do that. Should I? How can I do this? Hang on. Let me see. I just put it like that. I think I've gone very off topic. I started off talking about perfection, and then I started talking about failure. Probably just mentally sifting through myself. But you're right. Let's do this. I think for me, equally as well, it's nice to put it out there because other people might be feeling the same. Um, Oftentimes I find it's it's difficult to relate to other people. Not really relate. I'm not really one to open up. I break out in a sweat when I do it. But I find that you know it brings me comfort knowing I'm not the only one who's kind of like this. So if I can help someone else, you know, kind of be like he's just like me for real. Just if there's someone who sees me as their Ryan Gosling, that's nice because what have I done? Because it's nice to have someone you relate to. It's just it's just how it is. That's alright, but we must ball. So even now, I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh, this is so bad. Which it is. But I've got to remind myself that this isn't like a permanent thing. Like, if I don't do this, I won't get any better. So, you know, it's kind of good to do this. I'm trying doing this because I heard that it's good to draw the hair as ribbons. However, I think I've done slightly too big. Um, yeah, this is slightly too big. Okay. That should end by the nose. So about. I think being perfect. I know, I've said this a lot. Um, but being perfect probably. I should do this on a different layer actually. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna undo all of this and do it on a new layer. I'm not really used to digital drawing. As you could probably tell. Okay, let's undo some of this. Okay, that's good enough. But I think that probably extends to being you as well. You know, because sometimes that if you're not perfect, then you are. And I think it's a balance. I think it's a difficult balance to have because it's important to be. If you want to try and be someone that's better than what you are currently, that's good. That's fantastic. You should really go for that. But it won't happen overnight. You can't wake up one day and be like, all of a sudden I'm this guy, you know, or this girl, or in between. That's what it feels like for me. I've got a vision of who I want to be, and if I fall short of that, then I tend to beat myself up. But it's also as well making sure that you're still the authentic you, you know, like you don't change your principles or kind of what you like because other people because it doesn't. So okay, I'll throw this out there. I'm a young adult male. I want I'd like a girlfriend. That'd be nice. I've never had one. Um, but for me, I'm like, okay, well, if I act the way that my ideal self would, then obviously, I would have one because I would be confident and I would try and talk to them and I'm sure eventually something would fall into place. But then at the same time, it's like you know you kind of hear. I know it's not reality, but it's like oh well they find people who like anime and video games unattractive, and those are two things I really like. So there's one of those things where I mean obviously you can be both. I'm not really doing a too good a job, but of explaining. But what I'm saying is that you have the perceived notion of if you want a girlfriend, you can't like anime or stuff, or you can't let them know. Obviously, that's wrong. Um, but you're like, well, the idea stuff has gets lots of girls, but he. What am I even saying? I'm not even saying this needs to cover. Oh, I did this completely wrong. Basically, what have I done? Ignore what I've just said. What I'm trying to say is it's important to not compromise the things that you like because it may not fit with what you want to be to a certain extent. Obviously, if you do a lot of drugs and you drink a lot, that's something you should probably change. But if there's something you like, or like there's a nice hobby, Don't change that because you think, you know, it's a sacrifice you have to make in order to, get girls or be more popular. You know, even though anime is a lot more mainstream now, so it shouldn't really be. Just don't change who you are. Don't change your likes and your interests. As long as they're not weird. If you're like, I don't know. I don't want to shame anyone. But if you have some suspicious hobbies that are illegal, like if you take pictures of random people's feet without their consent, that's something that's not good. um, but if you like something like, if you like anime or comics or whatever, don't change that because you think, well, that's a bit of a cringe thing to like, and if I want to be perfect, if I want to live the life I want, I can't like those things because they're people who I want to hang around. Also, this is such a terrible example. I don't know why I'm still trying to explain this. I don't really. Just don't change who you are. If you're trying to live a certain way, only change the things that are necessary to change. If you want lots of money, but you don't want to leave your bed, that's something that's got to change. But if you want to be super popular and you want to be liked by a lot of people, and you think, well, let me just bury the sides of myself that really likes anime and manga, and video games and stuff. That's bad, because then you'll be incomplete. I'm sorry about my little, I suppose, tangent. There. Oh, I was off the screen. I don't really know what I was talking about. Maybe it's just some of my own frustrations and personal views and things. Man, when am I done? This is very messy. Right, let's outline the chin. But yeah, it can be difficult sometimes to know the know. It's a compromise because you'll never be perfect, you know. But you kind of have to know, what am I willing to change about myself to reach that, or what can I actually realistically attain, you know. Well, you guys document. This is what it looks like right now. It's oh, otherwise just a bunch of hate like that going. I'm still here. Your headphones still work if you think I'll just concentrating on drawing those one, two, three, four strands of hair. Um, but yeah, this is yeah, I've gone off the rails. um, I suppose. I mean, I went into this just wanting to put this out there. I suppose for people who may relate, or to help myself um process through it, because trying to be perfect is being more of a detriment, or wanting things in my life to be perfect is being more of a detriment, as opposed to, an actual help to uh to me. As always, though, Um, I'm no expert. I'm not a model. I'm not a model citizen. Take everything with a grain of salt. But if you relate to this and you can benefit from this, um, brilliant. I think that's good. Or even just to help you realize it, or maybe realize stuff within yourself that you weren't aware of before. Because I think that's probably half of it is recognizing that that's something about yourself that should change. Because I want to be less fixated on perfection. Because it definitely holds me holds me back a lot, and I think I have to be less afraid of um things not turning out the way I want them to. Uh, Hang on, I was just looking for this little line. Oh, but I don't know. I haven't got much else to say. This went off the rails a little bit. But if people see this and they see benefit in what I said or relate, I mean I've said this again lots of times. But what have I done? What even is this? Yeah. Well, it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, but that's okay. I tried and I put it out there despite it not not looking what it's supposed to. I tried and it's incomplete, but it's mine. You know, I gave it a go. This was the end result. A very big enlarged version of it. I draw her nose. It's quite a nice nose. I don't have a nose fetish, which is nothing wrong with that. But I don't even know how to draw noses. I'm just leave that. Do that for everything. I just draw that really weird triangle. And then Phillips. I'll just do share that and that one. And I'll just move out down there, maybe, hopefully. But yeah, this is the kind of. I mean, this was done on a whim. I had no plan. It was just something I was thinking about, and I figured, oh, why not make a video on it? That's there we go. There's the lips. Yeah. Oh, and I'll draw her eyes as well. This is the thing. This is where not wanting to really make things again is at my detriment because I do all these little things, but then I don't put it all together because I know it's not really gonna end up kind of the way I wanted it to. Um. Well, let me go to that. This is kind of what I've done. It's Oh, I forgot her eyebrow as well. Yeah. There we go. That's eyebrow there. She's really thick eyebrows. And she has freckles. There we go. I don't know what's going on down there. That was yeah, down this bit there. Well, this is come up. I thought it'd be half an hour, but it is it's now an hour. Nearly. But yeah, this is my ramble that I should end up as I'll be talking and going in circles for ages. But the bottom line is, you know, don't try and always make things be perfect, because it never will be. You'll end up more disappointed in life, um, if you hyperfixate on everything being perfect, and that's kind of the standard that you're trying to go for instead of ex- living life, you know? Like keeping an open mind to things and to really go out there and try, even if it's not what you thought yourself would be doing, because you miss out. Trust me, from what I say, if you try and focus on your life being perfect and doing things that will make it perfect, even if it's, you know, even if it, I don't know how to verbalize this, but if you know, oh, sorry, I don't know if you heard that. But yeah, okay, let me try again to attempt to do a little outro. But you know, things in life won't always be perfect. It will never be perfect. That's not how things work out. It's okay to fail, I suppose, or for things not really to turn out the way you want them to. Um, but you gotta keep an open mind, you know, because you never achieve the perfect life, because there's always gonna be some sort of issue. That's just how life works. And if you try and constantly pursue a perfect life and pursue people who, in your eyes, are perfect and fit and will complete your perfect life, um, that will never happen. And you'll miss out on meeting people who are really great. You know, obviously they're not the hyped up version maybe you thought they would be, but they're still pretty good, and they'll be with you forever. And although things with them might not be perfect, whether that be friendships or relationships or anything in between, you have that experience with them. And I think there's no point living life without its ups, without its downs. As long as the ups outweigh the downs, then life is worth living. You know, even if it's not perfect, even if it's not consistent ups and W's or whatever, as long as there's more of them than not, you lived a good life. Yeah, that's really my ramble over. Sorry if you heard a bunch of notifications. That's yeah, that's my bad. Um, but yeah, that's my little ramble session over. Um, I do more stuff than draw whatever this is. Even though I'd like to try drawing some more. I play games sometimes, or do less introspective rambling slash rant videos, or do movie reviews, which is fun. I like those. Um, but yeah, that's really it. Thank you for watching this far, and Godspeed. Or I don't have an original outro, but yeah.